Hello, gorgeous lucky souls, and welcome back to another episode of Lucky from Within. In this particular episode, I want to actually show you and teach you the 4-step method to manifest more wealth and abundance into your life. This literally changed my life when I understood this particular method, and honestly made me feel so lucky when it came to money. And this method is about going within and creating wealth from within so that externally you start to attract the wealth in your external reality. Because the whole premise of this podcast is called Lucky from Within. It is really to give you the tools to go within to create your own luck. Because so often, and I hear this all of the time, is that stories are played out of, why we aren't lucky and why things never happen for us and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and why someone else is experiencing this when I have just had the worst luck. And that is why you've been guided to this particular podcast. If this is the first time that you're listening, I just want to say a beautiful, warm welcome. You have found your home. You are about to shift your entire life like you have never experienced before. I absolutely love you and welcoming you with open arms into this beautiful space. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Because this podcast and why I created this is to help you see that you have the ability to be the lucky girl. Everyone has the ability to create their own luck. And I've said this time and time and time again. I've even created a whole manifestation program, which is now in my membership, called the Lucky Girl Academy, because it is owning your luck. It is realizing that that luck comes from within. Anyway, I felt like I was really called to just go on that tangent there. So someone needed to hear that today, because sometimes, we can focus on things going wrong in our life, and where focus goes, energy flows. So if we are focusing on the bad luck, the quote unquote bad luck, or the things that aren't going right for us, or things that aren't happening for us in the way that we intended them to happen, then what can happen is that we focus on those things, and where focus goes, energy flows. So we keep building momentum towards the timeline where things aren't working out for you. So at this point, we get to shift that and we get to change that. And this relates to money as well. Where focus goes, energy flows. And this is such an impactful realization around money. I know it was for me as well, is that, hang on a second. So money actually isn't controlled by external factors. Like, what about the economy? What about, the rising costs of living? What about, there's a housing crisis and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And yes, you can look at your external reality and you can base your financial situation on that, and you can keep focusing on that. Again, where focus goes, energy flows. So we keep getting caught up in the external factors and let that influence our bank account, rather than going within, living from within, creating wealth from within, and then dictating what shows up in your external reality. It is all mirroring us. I'm not saying that, there isn't a housing crisis and the rising cost of living is going up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when you're living from within, you're like, well, okay, there's going to be, I'm going to be paying for more with the rising cost of living. I will just ask the universe, I will align with more so that I can pay for the beautiful food that I put on my table. See the shift and the mindset shift of actually creating the luck within and focusing on you actually being lucky, you actually being wealthy, and then that dictating your external reality. So this is what I want to talk about today, because for so long, years and years and years and years, I would look at my external reality and base my decisions upon that, especially when it came to money. It was just like, okay, well, there's forces out there that are against me. I'm never going to make it. Look at these people with wealth. They must be, have a degree in being a doctor, or they must be a lawyer. I've really put a gap between people who had money and where I was. And I constantly looked at all of the reason why it wasn't actually possible for me to attract that level of wealth or attract anything else than I had experienced up until that point. And because of that, I always had enough to pay my bills or pay my rent. But if I wanted to experience more, if I wanted to take that overseas trip, if I wanted to purchase that piece of clothing, it was always just like, oh, I can't afford that. Or, maybe I'll have to get a new job, or, it was all of these limitations, right? These limitations. And even when I speak about it, it's just like this clench in my stomach, right? And it's so interesting. And I love talking about money. And the reason why I'm always, out there speaking about it and normalizing it is because for so long, for me as well, it was always that hush hush topic of, oh no, we don't speak about those things around the table. We don't talk about money in this beautiful, free sense. It was always, this hush hush topic. And it's so empowering when we can have discussions around money and normalize it, because that is when we create a beautiful relationship with it. You are in a relationship with money. We all are in a relationship with money. And it's dictated whether we feel like we have a great relationship with money or we don't have a great relationship with money. So anyway, I'm going on a huge tangent here. I'm going in all of these directions. I feel like I need some notes sometimes so I stay on topic, because my manifesting generator energy can be all over the place, but it all comes together at the end of the day, because I wanted to talk about that and the place where I was, where I literally did not have the money to sometimes pay my rent, or I was in the place of, feeling nervous and freaked out that my card was going to decline as I went to the shops to buy my groceries. So I'm just painting the picture of where I was when I decided to actually go within and create wealth from within and actually look at who I was being, my identity around money, because I literally felt like I hit rock bottom. And I had two decisions and two pathways. I could keep going down the trajectory of what I had experienced with money, or I could choose this different pathway and choose to look at money differently and choose to look at myself and my relationship with money differently. And at that point, Oh my goodness. I am so glad to say that I changed the whole trajectory of my life because I started to implement this 4-step process and this 4-part method to manifest wealth. Okay, so I literally went from that $0 to then making the 6 figures within the same year using this principle. And what I want to break it down for you in this particular episode so that you can walk away with something tangible, something that you can actually start to apply to your life right now so that you can see a difference within your financial reality. So let's dive in. The first principle and the first step within this method was to actually look at where I was currently at. Because so often I hear this all the time is just like, Delulu is a solulu. And yes, delusion is the solution majority of the time, right? But for this point of the journey, we want to actually come head on with what is happening currently in our financial reality. Because if we are constantly in that state of delulu of, it's just going to get better if I just think positive thoughts, if I just, take more action, it's like if I just believe better, if I'm just a happy person. So you can see how I'm like pushing and forcing it by trying to be in this high vibe state. But when in reality, when we are doing this, we are actually pushing it further away. Because where we currently are at, we feel like it is wrong, it is bad, there's shame, there's guilt in your identity that has not been processed. Because emotions and energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transmuted. So it's so important for us to bring these emotions up to the surface, to face them, to face any shame or guilt that is stemming up to the surface of where you are currently at and what you currently have in your life right now, so that we can transmute it and come to this place of neutrality in the nervous system. So I could talk about the nervous system and money all day. It is so impactful. And I actually have, a whole program within the Audacity to Be Her, but I will talk about that later. But for the purpose of this, it's really recognizing that we want to transmute any of those feelings. And this is ultimately what I do with my clients when they first come to me. I'm like, tell me what's happening right now. Give it to me straight. We want to transmute any shame or guilt because they are very low vibrations. And we want to bring your vibration up to that space of abundance, love, prosperity, wealth, which are higher frequencies and are also vibrations that are going to match more of that similar vibration. That is just how the law of attraction works. So with that, we want to then, when we come to that space of neutrality, that is when we want to ask for more, right? Because if we're not actually asking for more, if we're not actually creating the demand for more, and you might be like, okay, well, this just seems very simple, just asking for more. But this is actually a really crucial step because so many people, they say, oh, I want more money. And then I say, okay, well, what is that money for? What would you love to spend that on? And then they get, I don't know. What would I love? Because there is like some kind of guilt of asking for more money or wanting more. And the thing is, money itself doesn't actually have a frequency. It's a tool to be able to buy the things that you desire. So being able to just match money itself is a hard practice, right? So we want to actually say, okay, what would I love to experience this month? How much money would I love to call into my life? And where is this money going to flow to? Where is this money going to go? Because in order for me to match the 6 figures that year, I actually had to have a look at where would I love to expend this money. And I really got clear on what I would love to do with it. And we were looking at dream houses. I was like, okay, well, some of it will go to the deposit for our dream house. Some of it will go to furniture. Some of it will go to this trip, etc., etc., etc. So we want to be able to create the demand in your energy and frequency for more. So get really clear on where is this money going to flow to. So that is step number 2. Number 3 is actually such a powerful one, and one where, a lot of people get a little bit mixed up with or skip this particular step. So this step is to actually have awareness of how wealthy you already are. Because if we go into the process of wanting to manifest more money from the space of lack and scarcity, then there's always going to be a gap between where you are and where you desire to be. So there's going to be this neediness energy around, well, I don't like the place where I'm at. It is wrong. It is bad. So I want to escape or get to that space where I have the money in my life. Usually it's like a worthiness scenario of I don't believe I'm worthy until I have X amount of money. So it's really getting to this space where you feel wealthy, you feel whole, you feel worthy within your consciousness, so that you are removing any of that neediness energy, any of that stickiness energy from the money that you desire. So this is such a powerful one. A couple of things that you can do here is notice money already coming into your life. Because so often we want to focus on the lack and the scarcity because it's just a pattern, right? It is a pattern that is programmed in the subconscious of lack and scarcity. So we're so quick to say, well, I don't have the money to do this. I don't have the money to go on that holiday. I don't have the money X, Y, Z. But we never actually shift that into, wow, how much money and abundance I actually do have in my life. So you start to look at, oh, wow, I just got a free coffee today. Whoa, that's like $6 worth of energy that has just flowed my way, because money is just energy. And then you might go, oh, okay, well, I'm going to focus on that. That's incredible. And then you might get a refund from something that you bought a while ago. Wow, there's more abundance coming into my life. And you start to look at all of the wealth that is flowing into your life. Or another way that you might not like to do this is look at, how much wealth you have with the clothes that you have in your closet, the makeup that you have, the hair products, the food that you have in your fridge. There's going to be something within your reality where you can focus on how wealthy you already are. So that's closing that gap. The last step, but not least, because it is very, very, very powerful and potent, is actually, I don't want to say acting in the assumption, but it's practice being the version of you who already has the wealth that you desire. So this is the identity work that I talk about all the time, but this is in relationship to money. So how would the version of you think different? What would she believe about money? What would her behaviors be around money? So the version of you who's attracting, say, 10K months, how is she different to you now? Does she walk through the shop looking for all of the discounts? Does she walk around saying, I can't afford that, the economy is just so bad, etc., etc., etc.? How does she speak about money? How does she act? How does she move? Because from that space, you are closing the gap between where you are and where you desire to be. And you are becoming magnetic to that amount of money. It is crazy what happens when you step into her. I've had a client just recently come to me in this space of, feeling lack and scarcity, not having enough. And we've done this work in this process. And she has stepped into the wealthy version of herself. And she literally created more than she even asked for in the duration of working together. Literally in the first month of working together, and it was a 3-month container, she manifested the money back for working together. So it's just this bonus money that is just coming in to her life. It is magical, but also it's just like, of course this is happening because of this work. It is that powerful and transformational, honestly. That is why I absolutely love it. And I love speaking about it. So you can use these 4 steps, and I know that I've gone through them quite quickly in this episode. There's only so much I can share within this episode with you, but you can literally walk away and create an incredible transformation from this space of using these 4 steps. But if you would love to go deeper, because it's all about, practice being this version of you until it's just who you be. And that is when your entire external reality shifts. It's about living from that wealth from within rather than looking and living from without. That is everything that I'm going to be walking through in my upcoming program called Audacity to Be Her. So it's literally helping you step into the identity of the version of you who already has the wealth that she desires, already has the relationships, the life, everything is within this particular program. I don't even want to call it a program. It is more of a mastermind, because it is to help you quantum leap into that new reality. I've designed the space to have calls every single week, have embodiment sessions every single week. There's my exact identity shifting process in there. There's a whole program on money manifestation, so healing your relationship with money, being open to receive, stepping into the version of you who has the wealth that she desires. So every single day there's a new embodiment piece to practice being the wealthy version of you. Because what I've found is that these are patterns that run quite deep within our subconscious. And yes, we could know and conceptualize, okay, well, this is what I need to do. And we show up doing that for a few days after, listening to a podcast or a free masterclass, etc. But then we fall back into the old patterns. We fall back into the old identity because it is comfortable, it is safe. So, and then, we go inconsistent with our income if we manifest any money at all. So it is so powerful. And that is why this is my invitation for you. If you would love to join us, this is a space that you want to get into the room to quantum leap your life in 2025. Just saying. Without a shadow of a doubt, I believe in this space and in this work. So I'll have all of the details for you down below for that particular space. We start next week, the 24th, which is absolutely incredible and crazy. So if you'd love to join us, all of that will be down below, and we can even jump on a call to see what is best for you where you are currently at. But this is everything that I wanted to share on today's episode of Lucky from Within. I am so excited to hear how this resonated with you. If you would love more episodes like this, send me a DM, tell me your biggest takeaways from this space, share it on your stories, tag me at ashleyday.co, and let's just raise the wealth consciousness of the entire planet together. Isn't that an incredible mission to have? Raise the wealth consciousness of the planet. Beautiful. So powerful. So until next time, beautiful souls, just remember that the lucky is always from within. Bye.